Chapter 1. The priest of Midian. In the rugged wilderness of Midian, far from the bustling cities of Egypt and Canaan, lived a man of profound wisdom and quiet authority, Jethro, the priest of Midian. The Midianites were descendants of Abraham through his second wife, Keturah, Genesis 25, 1-2. And though they were not part of the covenant people of Israel, they worshipped the God of Abraham, albeit in their own way. Jethro was revered by his people as a spiritual leader and a man of insight. He was not only a priest, but also a patriarch, overseeing his family with kindness and wisdom. He had 7 daughters, and they cared for his flocks. The life of a shepherd in the arid wilderness was hard, but Jethro's household was blessed with peace and prosperity. Jethro's wise leadership extended beyond his own household. The tribes of Midian respected him for his wisdom, and he was often called upon to settle disputes and offer counsel. His knowledge of God, the one true Creator, was deep. And though he lived in a land far from the descendants of Isaac, Jethro knew the ancient stories of Abraham's covenant with God. Chapter 2. Moses' arrival in Midian. The story of Moses intersects with Jethro's during a time of crisis for the young Hebrew man. Raised in the palaces of Egypt as the adopted son of Pharaoh's daughter, Moses had enjoyed a life of privilege, but after killing an Egyptian taskmaster who was beating a Hebrew slave, Moses fled Egypt, fearing for his life. He left behind the opulence of Pharaoh's court and wandered into the desert of Midian, a fugitive with no home. One day, as Moses rested by a well, he saw 7 young women approaching with their father's sheep. The women, Jethro's daughters, came to draw water from the well for their flocks. But as they began to draw the water, a group of shepherds arrived and tried to drive them away. Moses, seeing the injustice, sprang into action. He rose up and defended the women, driving the shepherds away and helping Jethro's daughters water their sheep. When the women returned home earlier than usual, their father Jethro was surprised. "How is it that you have come so soon today?" he asked. The daughters reply, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew water enough for us and watered the flock." Jethro, curious about the man who had helped his daughters, told them to bring him back so they could offer him hospitality. "Call him that he may eat bread with us," Jethro said. There he found not only food and rest, but also a place of refuge. In the weeks that followed, Moses grew close to Jethro's family, and eventually Jethro gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses as a wife. Moses, the prince of Egypt, became a shepherd in the wilderness of Midian, tending Jethro's flocks and learning the ways of the desert. For many years he lived in Midian, raising a family and working as a shepherd. During this time, Zipporah bore him 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar. Chapter 4. Jethro's visit to Moses in the wilderness. After the dramatic events of the Exodus, the plagues, the crossing of the Red Sea, and the journey into the wilderness, Moses found himself leading a vast multitude of people. The Israelites, though freed from the oppression of Egypt, were a difficult people to lead. They grumbled, they quarreled, and they brought all their disputes to Moses, expecting him to judge and resolve leadership was tested daily, and the burden of managing the people's complaints weighed heavily on him. As the Israelites camped near Mount Sinai, Moses received a visitor, his father-in-law, Jethro. Word had reached Jethro that Moses had led the Israelites out of Egypt, and he came to see his son-in-law, bringing along Zipporah and Moses' 2 sons, whom he had cared for how Moses was in Egypt. When Jethro arrived, Moses went out to meet him, bowing low and kissing his father-in-law as a sign of respect. They exchanged greetings, and then Moses invited Jethro into his tent, where he recounted all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake. Moses told Jethro of the miraculous signs, the parting of the Red Sea, and the defeat of the Amalekites. Jethro, a man of faith, rejoiced at the story of God's deliverance. Asterisk, asterisk, blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. Asterisk, asterisk. Jethro offered sacrifices to God in thanksgiving, and Moses, along with Aaron and the elders of Israel, joined him in a meal before the Lord. Chapter 5. Jethro's wise counsel. The next day, Jethro observed Moses at work. From morning until evening, Moses sat as a judge, listening to the people's disputes and rendering decisions. The line of people waiting to speak with Moses stretched far, and Jethro saw how exhausted Moses was. When the day was done, Jethro took Moses aside and offered him some fatherly advice. Asterisk, asterisk, what is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? Asterisk, asterisk. Moses explained, asterisk, asterisk, because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a dispute, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws. Asterisk, asterisk. Jethro, seeing the danger of Moses taking on too much responsibility, gently but firmly said, asterisk, asterisk, the thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Asterisk, asterisk. Then Jethro offered Moses a solution that would relieve the burden on him and ensure that the people were well served. Asterisk, asterisk, listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before